sit.
Wait.
What?
We cannot break bread with you.
Huh?
You have taken the land which is rightfully ours. Years from now, my people will be forced to live in mobile homes, on reservations. Your people will wear cardigans and drink highballs. We will sell our bracelets by the roadsides. You will play golf and enjoy hot hors d'oeuvres. My people will have pain and degradation. Your people will have stick shifts. The gods of my tribe have spoken. They have said, do not trust the pilgrims. Especially Sarah Miller. And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground.
Jesus Christ, your neighbor's loud.
One day I'll knock.
Knock, knock, knock. Wait, what's that song? Knock on wood.
Yeah, I know that one.
do, 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 do. Okay, I'm sorry. So, trying to think of a good pun, but I don't have one.
What kind of pun?
Like, you know, a stupid ass turkey pun or something.
Oh, a turkey pun. Yeah.
Gobble, gobble. Well, fine. Look, it's Bitch I Ain't Scared, and we're giving you a holiday special. And you know what? We actually have some shit to give you.
We do, and we're not going to do what everybody else does, because...
What does everyone else do?
Everybody's talking about that Thanksgiving movie and all other... There's like maybe 4 movies that has to do with like Thanksgiving.
No.
We're not doing that.
We're not better.
No, of course not.
Toss his hair back.
We're not better.
We're just
different.
We're just inspired.
Yeah, there's a little more to Thanksgiving than just the turkey. And yeah, if we had access to the movie, maybe we'd bring it up, but nope. There are other podcasts for that. You've come to us for something unique, something special. And for this, we got a little bit of stuff that we're going to give you. So,
got to think outside the box, but really it's basically in the box.
Yeah.
You just didn't know where to look. So, I found an actual Thanksgiving horror sci-fi themed comic book.
Okay.
I actually did.
Is there a market out there for those?
I mean, sure. I don't know, but it was the only one that I could find that was legit. Like, it's ridiculous. So it was Mars Attacks, like the movie, Mars Attacks, The Holidays. And the cover is the aliens from the movie. And unfortunately, they're with, you know, natives. So, not great. But it was the only one that I could find. So it's not, you know, if you've seen Mars Attacks, you know it's not really a horror movie. It's more of like a, I don't even know what it is.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy throwback to the
Satire-ish.
50s. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Is this comic book recent?
I don't remember the publisher date.
Oh, okay.
But you can buy it for $3 on Etsy, I think.
Okay.
I came across another one, but I couldn't find the source. And it was talking about this guy and how he was, you know, all of his wishes were coming true, but then he had to confront all the strange happenings on Thanksgiving Day. And there's a picture of him, like, getting the bags of money and jewelry, and then there's the Grim Reaper off to the side. So I was like, oop. And that was an old-ass comic. You could just tell. It was from the 50s or beyond.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, something different.
That's cool.
You know, I tried.
I'll have to look that up. I at least want to see the cover.
Yeah.
I like Mars Attacks. I wonder, is the animation good and stuff?
I'm sure it's, you know, it looked good. It looked like legit. I mean, it's not older than the 90s. Whenever
well,
that movie
obviously it came out after the movie, so...
Yeah. Real quick, this doesn't have anything to do with Thanksgiving. I just wanted to say, you know, Rob and I both post things on our social media, and we both will respond. Sometimes I will try to make the extra effort, because Facebook doesn't let me do it on my phone. There's no differentiation. If I'm responding, it's going to say, bitch, I ain't scared. I will try to respond as myself sometimes, because I don't want to give the impression that I am speaking for you. Sometimes people don't know who's talking, probably. And sometimes I'll even try to like put not a signature, but I'll just be like, this is from the Fool.
Yeah.
Because you know, you might not be interested in it, or it's like this isn't something he would have posted. So if ever I come off as, I don't know, speaking for both of us, that's not my intention. Just want to put that out there. Intention versus impact. Woo, woo, woo. I don't want to do that. So I don't know if that's something that...
I kind of do that too, but it's mostly on Twitter. I'll just post something, and I'll sometimes use the word I or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know you don't use Twitter as much. So
I mean, I just try to be conscious of it because, and that's just my personal feeling. I don't ever feel like you're speaking for both of us. It was just me thinking, I responded to something, and yeah.
So there are times when my my profile name will show up if I comment. When I post stuff, it's fine. Bitch, I ain't scared. But it's when I comment, it doesn't comment as bitch, I ain't scared. It comments as my actual profile.
Yeah,
name.
And that's what I would prefer.
It's so weird. But that one's not even like my real profile. So I still have to log into like my other one. It's weird. Okay. But yeah. Usually, if it's something that I think is neutral for both of us to be like, oh, okay. But then there are stuff, because I'll mention you. I'll be like, don't look at this trailer, Nate. Even though, like, bitch, I ain't scared posted it. So it's like stuff like that I make sure it comes from me.
Well, I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a friend.
Yes. Giving thanks to this opportunity to do this podcast with a good friend of mine. So, yes, definitely. Praise.
Yes. I'm just going to do it now. Have you ever heard of We Gather Together?
No.
All right. It never happened.
Yeah.
So, the movie Valentine came out in 1999, 2000, 2001, whenever it came out. It was 2001.
Yeah. That
was back when I was like religiously checking upcomingmovies.com or .net, whatever the fuck it was.
I remember upcoming movies.
And Valentine was coming out. That was before we all knew it was a piece of shit. But the same writers were also working on a movie called We Gather Together.
Uh-huh.
It was a Thanksgiving-themed slasher film. And I so wanted this to happen. It was about a group of people who were mysteriously invited to dinner by, I think, someone that they didn't know. And then, one by one, they're killed. And I'm sure it comes out as, they did something that they shouldn't have done. One of those revenge films, who knows. But I just really wanted to see it, man. But because Valentine sucked, they did not do that. And I was just looking forward to, like, this whole theme of, like, oh, are they going to make a bunch of holiday-themed slasher movies?
Yeah, you wonder if they were going to run with that, the horror of Gary Marshall films. Because he tried to do every holiday, and then that got old quick.
So, yeah, I just would at least like to read the screenplay.
That sucks. I tried to look it up on IMDb. It's not showing up.
No, it never happened.
Oh.
I mean, they didn't even go into pre-production.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's like they kind of did because they were banking on Valentine being successful. But it's like you probably should have tried a little harder.
Yeah.
So never gonna get that.
That sucks. And one day somebody will make one. I mean, everybody's been wanting Eli Roth to make his Thanksgiving trailer into a movie, which still hasn't happened yet, but there was always rumors that was going to happen. And from the trailer, it looked interesting. So, I mean, I think any horror movie themed, like, Thanksgiving movie would be interesting. So, yes, make more of them. People love Thanksgiving.
Maybe Jordan Peele will do it.
Yeah.
Have all kinds of themes on that movie. So my personal task for this episode, for this special, was to look at dinner party movies. And I found a few good examples. One, which is very, very recent. And I found an article. Some of them were not horror films. But I found someone that I had never heard of.
Okay.
So the title of the article was Dinner Parties from Hell.
I think I read that today.
Did you?
Well, because I just at the last minute thought, oh, I should think of awkward dinner parties or just movies, that, have a weird dinner theme.
So the three films that I'm highlighting are The Invitation, The Last Supper, and Get Out. Now, I just watched Get Out again for the third time. Every time I watch that movie, I see something different and new. We all know how that shit went. It's probably just... Oh, man. That movie sucks because nobody is there to help him. Except for his friend who's not there, but he's not at the dinner party. So it's like an awkward dinner party, but it quickly turns into something else very quick. It's not just guess who's coming to dinner, which was funny that was on the list too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so much worse. Going to a party and trying not to make people uncomfortable when you're uncomfortable, but it's like, oh, I'm at somebody else's house. I don't want to be rude. I want to leave, but I'm not leaving because I don't want to upset anyone or cause a scene like, oh, I'm being ridiculous. But it's like there's so many opportunities where this is not a great situation. I want to leave. I think a lot of people can relate to that experience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Thanksgiving is just one of those things where you like eat at the table and you all talk about the same subject. And it can get awkward. Somebody is going to say the wrong thing at least twice. Mm-hmm. And it'll create this tension and this awkward, like, yeah, that's what Thanksgiving's all about. No, I'm playing. But
yeah,
that is a situation that happens all the time. And yeah, it's so weird that etiquette has just been embedded into our heads so much that we're willing to go through this discomfort just for the sake of keeping everything at peace. And yeah, so I mean, Get Out is definitely a good example of that.
Yeah.
That man almost lost his life because he didn't want to be rude.
And I mean, it's like, it's so simple, but it's even like when you go to dinner and you're with your family, and sometimes it's family that you haven't seen in a long time. They're like, oh, give me a hug. It's like, no, I don't want to give you a hug. We barely know each other. I don't want to touch you. Why do you want to touch me? Okay, you saw me when I was 3. It's a cute story. You don't know who I am. We don't need to touch. It was like when that woman touched him and starts like caressing his arm, and you see him like just freeze, and it's like, all right, this has happened before. Let me just get through this moment. It's like, ugh. Or like, come and talk to me. It's like, I don't want to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. And then on top of that, oh, they're also trying to kill me and brainwash me. Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. The Invitation is one of those surprise movies that just takes you on. It's like you're going crazy. You were really going crazy watching that movie because there's so many back and forths where it's like, no, something is wrong with these people. He's right. And it's like, no, he's just been through a lot. He's just stressed out and everything's fine. I really thought that movie was just going to end and he was just going to look crazy.
Folks, it's on Netflix, I think, still. Watch this film.
I mean, there's so much going on in this movie.
It's so good. And for a movie that didn't have any supernatural element to it, there are no monsters. It's just human beings.
Yeah.
And what grief can do to somebody's mind and what people are really capable of to get rid of pain and sorrow. Like, I've just never, and see, this is one of those reasons why I cannot do parties and small talk. It's just so difficult for me. If I was in a situation, God help me. Like, I think everybody there had a partner or somebody that they brought to kind of lean on when things got weird.
Most people do. Except for the one girl. She was like, deuces.
But no, homegirl and her husband. Remember, the husband was like super late.
Well, he was super late.
So, yeah.
So many red herrings. It's like, God.
But we experienced this movie with the lead character, this guy who ends up going to a party of his ex-wife's. He was invited. I think she remarried, and they're hosting this party, and they're introducing all of their friends to this new thing, this group that they joined to deal with the death of her son that our lead character had with this wife. And you're hearing these people talk and go through the motions, and he just finds it to be super weird. But in our eyes, is he just jealous, or is he still crazy from dealing with the death of his son? Like, all of these theories are popping in your head. You have no idea where to go, and you are experiencing this awkwardness, this weirdness, this huge tension with him. And then slowly it breaks down and lets you know what's really going on. And I'm telling you, it's super suspenseful, and it's just, it's heart-wrenching. I just thought it was really good. So definitely recommend this one. This is a really good example of like an awkward dinner party, because like there's drinking involved. You just don't know if he's just like, you know, it's just so like, it's nerve-wracking. You just get weird just watching it.
And this is a perfect example of people who have old friends and new friends, and you always want to bring your friends together. Sometimes that's not the best thing to do. Sometimes you have your friends that you're going to hang out with on the weekends, and sometimes you have your friends that are just at work. Don't mix the two, because they're not going to like each other, or it's going to be weird and awkward, and it's like, we're vibing, and then you just said something weird, and you're just over there like being weird. Why is she here? Who is she?
Yeah.
How do you know this person? Great. We're all here now, and it's just too much. Yeah. As soon as, I think I would have left. I definitely would have left.
I would have left.
I mean, and this is different because like, versus like dealing with someone's family. Like if I'm going to meet the parents, then it's like, I don't want to, I really like my boyfriend, so I want to make a good impression, even though they're annoying. I just have to work through it. When it's your friends, or God forbid, you know, like your ex-husband, wife, it's like, you know, they're being weird. I'm leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would have left. There would have been there would have been a passive aggressive, obvious reason that I am leaving because I don't want to be here. But I wouldn't say it. It'd be something else. I don't care what the reason is. I'm out. I have like, no problem boning out of a party.
I don't feel
like
good.
I'm done.
I don't feel good.
I will see you later.
Yeah.
And yeah. So now there was this movie that I have not seen yet, but I hear it is so amazing, and it's very similar to The Invitation, and it's called Coherence. Have you heard of this title?
Nope.
Okay. Here, let me look it up real quick just to give a little bit of like who's in it or whatever. But I keep hearing off other blogs and stuff that this movie is great. It's called Coherence. It's under the category of mystery, sci-fi, and thriller. I don't know why it's sci-fi, but it was in 2013. Strange things begin to happen when a group of friends gather for a dinner party on an evening when a comet is passing overboard. You've seen this?
I've seen this.
Okay, so how much do you remember? Is it really that good?
Watch it.
Oh my God. See, and that's the thing. When you don't even want to tell somebody if it's good or bad, that means it's legit.
I'm pretty sure this is it. Let me just double check the cast.
Yeah, it has Xander in it. It has Xander in it.
Oh,
yes.
It's his mugshot. That's no good.
I know.
Yes, this is it.
Yeah, Nicholas Brandon. I think I know Elizabeth Grayson. I think I know her.
The majority of the cast. Oh, the guy Maury Sterling. He was on Homeland, and you know he works. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, it's a trip.
Yay!
It's a trip. It's kind of like a low budget. Not like it looks bad, but it's just I don't think it costs a lot of money to make.
It's a little indie, yeah.
But the way that it's done, it's trippy. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that movie is just great, so I do want to see that at some point. Yay! Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So The Last Supper. I've never heard of this.
I have so seen this, and this
you have?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I want to watch it.
I'm gonna check and see if I own it. I own way too many movies. I'll see if I own it. I probably don't because I would remember. But this was when like The Mask came out, and I just knew of Cameron Diaz, so I just pretty much watched anything she was in. And I worked at a video store.
True.
So when I read the movie, it was all about talking about social issues and politics and all that stuff, which I'm barely into. But the fact that there's like huge debate going on through the whole movie, I was like, oh, I should watch this. So I decided to rent it, and I was super shocked on how good this movie was. But man, there are people who are like that. It's like flatliners. They're too smart for their own good. They have nothing else going on in their lives except to present themselves as better than anyone else. And so I don't want to give too much away, but basically...
Well, I read the premise
Yeah.
of, I mean, yeah, they invite people over for dinner who are like very like... I mean, the one guy, like they give the example, he's a racist. And
Yeah, it was a neo-Nazi guy.
Yeah.
They didn't mean to do it, and then they kill him out of rage. Just
But then
based
they
on a huge
decide, you know
debate.
what? Society's better off, and hey, let's make a thing of this, and we'll just start taking out like
This is
people
like
who
what
are not
Death Note
great.
was like inspired by.
So yeah, I'm like, this sounds so up my alley.
Yeah,
So,
no, you should definitely check it out. It's kind of considered a comedy too, but I
yeah,
mean,
it seems like a dark.
you know who's in this movie? Yeardley Smith, Lisa Simpson.
Oh,
she's in it. She
is
pops
she?
up in it
That's
too.
funny.
Yeah, and it has like a variety of like cast too.
Well, I saw Courtney B. Vance is in it,
Yeah.
and then Annabeth Gish. I know her name, but I don't remember.
I would have to look at her and
Like,
tell
I
you
have
what
no
she's
idea.
like been in. But no, The Last Supper is a really good example of like awkward dinner party. It's kind of uncanny because it still touches on the idea of, are these people better off? Do we have a right to cast judgment and rule people dead because they think a certain way? Like, I love the fact that you'll watch it, but like all they do is hear them out, and if they say it, then bam, they're done. They don't try to convince them otherwise. They don't try and sway them to a different opinion.
Right.
And you know, it's like they don't want to pass judgment on themselves, so they just take it out on other people. Like, you'll love it. I think you'll like it.
I think I will.
It's from 1995,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's a little hippie-ish too, but I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Of course, I have like a plethora of them. I have so many others, but so I'll bring up a couple that not necessarily are like horror-esque. They're just a dinner scene that's just off the wall, batshit crazy. And of course, one of my favorites that I always think about is Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
When they have their dinner party and they all get possessed by, you know, the two ghosts, and they sing Harry Belafonte's Deo. I just love that scene so much, but yeah, that's always a funny scene to watch. And the fact that they were not phased one bit. They were like, oh my god, do it again. I want to do that again.
Delia, you are a flake. You have always been a flake.
Catherine O'Hara, gotta give it to you. The woman has rhythm. I mean, that woman was on point on every beat. I love it. She was hot
That was a good scene.
with her little string of hair just like dangling on her side. That was really good. Another dinner that was just wackadoodle crazy. Did you ever see the movie Nothing But Trouble?
No.
So this is a comedy, and it was written and directed by Dan Aykroyd. It has Chevy Chase, Demi
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Have you seen
Yes.
it? Do you remember?
I vaguely remember it from childhood. I just remember the part where he's going in like this roller coaster that apparently will kill him.
The Bone Chiller.
But I remember some other people went through and they didn't come out.
Yes. So they're arrested already, and they're supposed to, you know, be there overnight, but they serve them dinner, and they go to this huge table that's like this, like machine / like, I don't know what it is, but it's got this revolving like train just traveling through the entire table full of condiments, and everything just kind of rotates and serves dinner. It's so crazy. But they have like these sausages that are from like Russia or something. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh,
Like,
I thought they were the people.
I know. But yeah, I mean, these people were gross, and like it was just a really disgusting, messed up party.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. And who was it? John Candy.
John Candy
God
was
rest
the
his soul.
daughter, but
yeah,
he was also
he played two
another
people.
character.
He played. Yeah, he was twins. So, or were they cousins? I think they were cousins.
Oh, I didn't know if they were. I don't remember. I was little.
Yeah, but he played a cop, and then he also played Dan Aykroyd's daughter, who was mute, couldn't speak, and she was. It was just a crazy scene. So if you like go on YouTube and just put like Nothing But Trouble dinner scene, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's such the wackiest dinner
Yeah.
ever. So that was always fun to watch. And then, like, do you remember Scary Movie 2?
Yeah.
Chris Elliott, he plays like the butler with the messed up hand, and he's trying to serve dinner with his bad hand, and he won't accept anybody's help because he's like, I can do it all by myself and blah blah blah, and he's just dipping his hand in like everything that's on the table.
Yeah.
And especially the mashed potatoes. I guess if I remember correctly, it was super disgusting. You have to watch this scene one day.
No, I've
like,
seen
again,
it. I don't want to watch it
it's
again.
so gross, but it's one of the funniest scenes from that movie. I thought that was funny.
Scary Movie 2 did not make me laugh.
Really?
didn't.
Apparently, a lot of people like that sequel a lot.
It didn't. It wasn't that funny to me. The first one was funny, and then the second, I don't know. After that, it kind of lost its mojo for me.
Yeah. But some other like horrific ones that popped up that I've seen. Did you see the Perfect Host?
Oh, with what's his name from Frasier? No.
Yes,
I did
David I.
not.
Pierce. So basically, this criminal, he is like running from the law or whatever, and he just stops by this house and he pretends to be a friend of a friend. And he's like, I'm just waiting. Can you like let me in and just kind of hang out until my friend arrives and yada yada, right? And at the same time, this guy is hosting a party. And so he comes in and he's just kind of sitting there waiting for him. And then like slowly the criminal is kind of exposed. And, you know, lo and behold, that he didn't know this guy that he chose to kind of squatter at his house is fucking crazy, because he technically kidnaps him, chains him up to a chair, and he's sitting there with all these like different guests, but it turns out that the rest of the party guests are all in his head.
Oh.
Yes.
They're all in David Hyde Pierce's head?
Yes,
Oh.
but we as an audience get to visually see all of his personalities come out, and apparently he's done this before. And so if you're familiar with Frasier or David Hyde Pierce, this is the last role you would think he would do. And it's not a bad movie. It's actually pretty entertaining. It gets really weird in the last like 20-25 minutes. But as far as the whole dinner party stuff and like just this process of him just going crazier and crazier, it's worth the watch. And I think it's on Netflix too. But yeah, it's a really fucked up movie.
I just thought of another one with a really unfortunate dinner. Would you rather?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, they didn't really. Did they even have food? But
They had-
they
yeah.
did. Did they eat?
they had dinner.
Okay.
And that was one of the things where she was like, I'm a vegetarian. And he was like, how much money would it take for you to eat that steak?
God, I do
That was like the
remember
first
that.
test.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, would you rather? I'm sure everyone's familiar with that game. Just imagine if it was a horror film.
Yeah.
It is disgusting. And for somebody who watches horror films all the time, I was still very disturbed by this movie.
I mean, it's not super gory, but it's cringeworthy because of, I mean, the
Some of the
things
things-
that they have to do. Man, it's...
Well, just the fact of what's being asked of them, especially to inflict pain on someone else.
Or to choose to have pain inflicted on yourself. But some people are like, nope, I'm here to play to win.
I think that this slow sort of reveal that even though they're not like chained to their chair or anything, there was this slow reveal that you're stuck here. Like, you're not leaving this house.
No, it was actually pretty quick. Like, after they ate dinner, I mean, he said, so if anybody wants to leave, you can leave now. And nobody chose to leave. But then after he started asking them to participate in crazy shit, the one guy was like, oh, I'm getting out of here. And
Yeah, somebody
couldn't
pulled out
leave.
a gun, and then it was, but I don't know, it was just, for me, it was just like that feeling that you just are powerless and you just can't go anywhere. And then this it's just everything else from this point on is so unexpected. It's like, how am I going to survive this? And what's funny, it's like not many people are that rich to give away money to everyone. Clearly, you have to be the only one living. And that, to me, just like creeps me out so much. Like House on Haunted Hill, I had that same thought process. It's just the execution just wasn't scary for me. So I didn't really get into that movie as much. But just the idea of like, oh yeah, we're going to give everybody $1 million if you survive. It's like, come on now. Only one of you is getting the money. Well, technically. But that kind of creeped me out too, is that they couldn't leave. And I didn't like that.
It's just like Thanksgiving.
Yes. Right. Do you remember the small dinner party that Hannibal had in the sequel when he's eating Ray Liotta's brains right in front of Sterling?
Yep.
Or Starling.
Starling.
God, I'm never going to get that name right. But yeah, I thought visually that was actually a pretty cool scene. I didn't know that was medically possible either.
Gross. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, you know, it's like, I don't know. Is it medically possible? I am not a doctor. I'm sure it is. Granted, it's like he's going to die. He's going to die. His head has been opened up and he's sliced the membrane off the top of the brain. He's eating a piece. I mean, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I totally agree. So yeah, that was pretty much all the good ones that I picked up.
Magically, I remembered that Buffy did have a sort of Thanksgiving episode.
Did she really?
Remember? I mean, it came out like the week of Thanksgiving. It was season 4.
College years.
And it was when Xander was working as a construction and they were digging underground and they, you know, fucked around with a Shumash. I think it was a Shumash
yes.
burial ground.
Yes. Okay.
You know, that old motif. They're like, oh, fucking with the indigenous burial grounds. And yeah, so then he got, what was it, syphilis?
I'll have to watch that one again. It was such a one-off, like, filler episode. I barely remember it, but you're correct. That was a Thanksgiving episode, actually.
So, I mean, you know, and it's like, whenever we do stuff like that, we have to, like, confront the elephant in the room. It's not even an elephant. It's just they're using Native Americans to be the scary thing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great, guys. But yeah, I do think, the ghost started to come back and it was like, I don't remember even how they rectified the situation because they couldn't kill them.
Yeah.
Like they would try to fight back and it was like nothing would happen. Which that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that episode again.
Yeah. I think there was a part where I think Spike was tied up because that was a season where he had the chip in his head, but they're like, we can't let him go anywhere. So they had him tied up and he accidentally got shot with an arrow. And it was really close to his heart and he was like, hey! But of course he lived. Oh, Spike. And then later, like, when they did the musical episode, you remember when they were singing the song? And she said, his penis got diseases from the Chumash tribe.
Oh, that was a reference.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
See, good old Joss Whedon.
I know.
He always
so good with that continuity.
goes back and forth.
Good catch. Good catch.
Vibe gets kind of scary.
I love that musical.
It's so good. I wanted to be in that when I was in high school, but it's like nobody would come see that. The Buffy musical. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, Thanksgiving wouldn't be complete without the love of your family and just togetherness. So I actually thought I would bring up some good and bad families in horror films. Ones that banded together to protect their home, and then others who banded together to kill everyone. And there are plenty on both spectrums. Off the top of your head, can you remember any? What are
they called? The Firefly family?
There you go. Good one. Firefly family from House of a Thousand Corpses.
And Devil's Rejects.
Yes.
I didn't finish the first one. I didn't watch the second one, so I don't even know why I'm referencing them. But yes, those are the ones that came to mind.
Yes.
We already talked about it, but Mother's Day.
Yes.
Was another one.
Mm-hmm. There is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Sawyer family.
Yes.
Yeah, they even had an awkward dinner party as well. That was pretty gross. Have you seen the movie American Gothic? So this
No.
is 1988.
Heard the title.
So yeah, so the cover of the movie is that old painting with the farmer and his wife, and he's on the pitchfork.
Yeah.
But it looks all demented and crazy, and in the
Right.
back it's got the kids in this window. So the wife of that couple is Yvonne DiCarlo.
Who's that?
That is Monsters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so she was in it, and basically these 5 kids are in a plane, they're traveling somewhere, but the engine breaks, they have to like land on this island, and then they come across this house where this family is there, and they have grown-ass kids who pretend to be like 10 to 12 years old, and they obviously have very strict Bible religious rules, no cursing, no premarital sex, and all this stuff. And of course all the kids break them in somebody else's house, so what do? They just kill them. And yeah, it was a pretty messed up family, but for an 80s movie it was pretty good. So you never heard of this?
No, I definitely have. I mean, that's the name of the painting.
Yeah.
And I've seen the movie cover before.
Okay,
At
okay.
some video store when I was growing up.
And
That's funny.
And then speaking of Yvonne DiCarlo, she also guest starred on an episode of Tales from the Crypt, which was a segue into the main story where this salesman decides to play a con on a family of 3, mother and father and daughter, all played by the same man, the legendary Tim Curry.
Awkward.
The episode was Death of a Salesman. He played all 3 characters, Nutty Professor style. And this guy, Ed Begley Jr., decides to try and sell him a vacuum cleaner that obviously didn't work. And they ended up capturing him because they were like, oh, you'd be perfect for my daughter to marry and make babies and all this stuff. And it was so gross. But the makeup was insane. And Tim Curry played the hell out of all 3 roles. It was so good. But that was a family that definitely had some secrets. And yeah, you should watch that episode. I'm sure the whole thing's on YouTube. But you don't have you seen that one?
No, it sounds very familiar to another episode of some anthology series. I don't know if it was Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Darkside or The Hitchhiker. I have no idea. I just remember seeing it. I was really young, where a man stops by this house, and this couple, this older couple, they have like an inn or something, and they're like, yeah, you can stay here for the night, it's storming. And they tell him something about their daughter, like, don't mess with their daughter, leave her alone. But when he sees the daughter, it's like, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, but it's like, don't touch her. But when he touches her, it's like her flesh starts to come off every time he touches her. You remember this? Have you seen this?
Sounds so familiar.
Yeah, and I have no idea. If anybody knows what this is, please tell me, because I don't know where it's from. But at the end, spoiler alert. Yep. But at the end, he does die. Like, it's like she's a full skeleton. Like, flesh has come off, but she pushes him, I think, into the same machinery that he pushed her into. I have no idea. This is such a vague memory. I was probably like 4 years old when I saw this, so I'm so sorry.
Familiar.
But at the end, another guy shows up, and they're like, "Oop, it's gonna do it all over again."
So she gets her skin back?
Yeah, yeah, I think. Such a vague memory.
Oh man, it sounds so familiar. But yeah, I would definitely have to think about that a couple times. Crazy. Another family. So did you ever see the movie Stoker?
No.
So Stoker was directed, I can't remember if it was written by, but it was definitely directed by Wentworth Miller. He has he's directed some titles. He has a very morbid mind. I think he was also involved in the Killing of the Sacred Deer that's currently out right now with Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. So Stoker also had Nicole Kidman in it, along with the girl who played Alice in Tim Burton's Alice, Mia something.
That movie?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
but
it's so good. It's really dark, super demented. Father dies, daughter is left with the mom who's like completely unstable. The uncle, who is the man's brother, comes in, stays with them, and then it turns into this sort of like incestual sort of weird thing because the daughter starts infatuating him.
Great.
And he's like trying to get with the mom.
Yes, Matthew Good.
Yes, Matthew Good. And yeah, it just gets super weird and awkward and crazy, but it's actually super good. It's really good.
Are Matthew Good and Wentworth Miller together in real life? This is like totally not, but that just popped into my head.
Are they together?
Maybe not.
Oh.
I was thinking because he directed it and Matthew Good.
Yeah.
I don't remember who Wentworth Miller. He's with someone, but I don't remember who. Never mind. It's not Matthew Good.
Okay.
They're just both beautiful.
And some of the good families that I want to bring up, I was just being inspired today for our Thanksgiving special by watching Addams Family Values. That got pretty Thanksgiving-y towards the end of the movie. And so Addams Family Values, I mean, what a fun family. I always watch them. I always preferred them over Monsters for some reason. But yeah, Addams Family was just a really crazy family to watch. I just love them, and I wish I would see more of them. I heard of a reboot, actually, but haven't heard too much about like what it's about or what they're doing. But they don't want to stop. I mean, people just love that family. They just don't want to give it up.
I know.
Because even after like the horrible musical, apparently people still
horrible.
Loved it. Yeah, people didn't like this musical. It just didn't.
I've heard that some people did like it.
Really?
Brandy loved it. I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so this is kind of like good and bad families, but Hills Have Eyes, we've talked about it, but it involves a family of cannibals versus a family of survivors. I mean, that family really had to stick and work together.
Some of them do.
Yeah, I know, right? But
Sorry.
yeah, I just wanted to bring them up. And then I thought, well, basically any movie that has Dee Wallace as the matriarch pretty much deserves to be on this list. Like The Critters, they all stuck together and,
Talk about a Thanksgiving movie.
I know, right?
Delicious.
But yeah. And then another Nicole Kidman one that I wanted to bring up, the Stewart family from The Others. The mom and her 2 kids who were allergic to the sun had to stay inside the home.
Yeah.
That family, man. Dad's away all the time in the army, just going to war, just never home, just neglects his family. And she's on it. With her rules.
Mm-hmm. They didn't kill nobody, though.
No, they didn't. But yeah, just wanted to bring that family up. Even though they were kind of horrific, they still were, a family that had to kind of stick together. Mm-hmm. Of course, Poltergeist, that family banded together to get through their ordeal. So they obviously deserve a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put the Creeds on here, Pet Cemetery. I thought that family deserved a shout out too, because they kind of go through it.
Yeah, but I don't think they were very successful at anything.
No, they weren't successful.
I mean, and it's not really their fault.
No.
It's the husband who should have stopped burying fucking things in the... I mean, he knew what it was. Stop doing that. Shit. Does the cat look normal? No.
Would you have tried that just out of curiosity? Look at you.
No. I mean, the cat was already kind of creepy before you buried it and brought it back to life. Like,
yeah.
Didn't do it any favors. My child? No.
I just love the fact that this family just goes through so much shit. It's like, yeah, we live near a cemetery where we can bring things to life. All of a sudden, the opportunity knocks and, like, people start dying around them. And it's just like, whoa, like, I just love the fact that they just didn't even hesitate. Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know he was doing it by himself. The wife had no idea. Lost Boys.
That is a family. Yes, they definitely banded together. For sure. Single mom at its best. Don't let anyone tell you need 2 parents to have a successful home. That woman, 2 boys, reckless, dealt with some vampires, still held her own. Preach. I love her.
Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, I know.
They had a good
Diane Weiss. She just...
dinner party.
Oh, yeah.
I can't eat that now. He used his hands. It's not sanitary.
I love it. I think he like almost had that one pea in his mouth. He dropped it right at the... He had it.
No wonder he can't tell right from wrong living with this family. She was so funny.
I know. I love it.
Ding dong, the Avon lady.
I know. I was just about to say that, but I was like, am I going to be out of place saying that?
I'm Peg Boggs, your local Avon representative, and I'm as harmless as cherry pie. Yeah, Peg Boggs. What a name. I can't really think of any others.
Yeah.
There's lots of them.
There's
so
lots,
sure.
but I just wanted to mention some of my favorites because I want an opportunity to bring them up again. So I'm just like, yeah, these are cool families in horror, and these are horrible families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else?
I would like to name a few things that I am thankful for.
Okay.
Because I think it's important to at least be thankful. So, 100% honesty, I don't really care about Thanksgiving anymore. It's not the holiday for me. I loved it when I was a kid. It's before I knew a lot of truths about the world. And it was a family holiday. But then my grandmother passed away on my mother's side, so the family sort of dispersed. We lived right down the street from my grandmother. We were always the last to show up, though. I don't know how that... That's where I get my sense of time, Rob. So, just after that, it was different. And then I went away to school, and now I live out in California, and I still have some family out here, but it's just not the same. So I'm going to do something for Thanksgiving, but it's not... it's just not really the same anymore. I don't view it the same, but I still think that it's important to reflect on things that I'm thankful for. I will say one thing in horror that I am thankful for this year, and not to be, basic, but I am thankful for this podcast. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a growing experience. I've learned a lot of things about myself, good and bad, and I think acquired some new skills, which is always great. I get to express myself every week, for better or worse, and I'm having fun. Something about the community that I'm a part of, one of the communities, which is the LGBT community. I think I'm just thankful for being able to feel more comfortable in my skin and to walk down the street and actually hold someone's hand and not worry. Granted, I will say it, I live in LA. If I lived in Oklahoma or Iowa or I don't know,
Like
Brazil,
pretty much anyone south.
Any other country that isn't the United States, I don't know how I would feel. But Indiana, that's where I'm from. Wouldn't do it there. But yeah, I feel very happy that I'm somewhat safe. I'm confident I can walk down the street. But I still watch people when they're out on the street with me because you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But still, we've made some great strides. And another thing I will say, as far as the world at large or my immediate environment, I'm thankful for the current situation that has exposed people for who and what they really are. A lot of bad things have been happening, and it's scary. But I was talking to my aunt on the phone the other day, and she said, well, basically, silver lining, a lot of people are becoming very involved in different movements, and they're voicing their opinions on how they feel. And, the scales are still pretty much tipped where there's a greater form of good in the world, or at least people striving to take care of one another versus all of these people who are showing their asses and saying weird shit in the streets. You will not replace us. Get the fuck out of here. There is some good that has come out of the last year, and I am thankful for that.
Very good.
Thank you.
I because I live far from my family and it's not easy to just travel to them for every single holiday that comes up. Thanksgiving has become one of those holidays where it's a little it's one of those holidays that can be sacrificed.
Yeah.
Like if I had to choose between the two, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas is probably one that deserves more family attention than Thanksgiving.
I agree.
Thanksgiving has turned into a second family holiday for me. That I will choose to eat food if I can and spend it with my second family, the people that I created as my family, just to kind of, break the two in half. And, sometimes on Christmas I can't make it, but I do my very best. But yeah, as far as Thanksgiving, it's usually spent with friends. And, I can't cook worth a damn. So it's hard for me to even contribute to the holiday. But again, I do my very best to try and be thankful for my surroundings and who I'm with and everything like that. And yeah, so Thanksgiving still has a purpose for me, but it isn't as good as what it used to be. As a kid, I had no worries in the world, and now that I'm an adult and I have to do all of this stuff, like, yeah. So again, it's just one of those holidays that kind of dies down a little bit, but it's still worth it if possible. I am thankful for this podcast too. I would love for this to be a career. I don't know why I'm having so much fun doing this, but it just feels right for me to do. And I don't know. It's just come natural, and it's easier for me to even talk in front of a camera, even though I'm not in front of a camera now. So I don't know. Like, if this turns into a career, like, totally down. And I'm glad that I was able to discover this before it was too late. But I mean, other than that, I'm alive, somewhat healthy, and I'm living on my own, and I'm doing the LA thing. So yeah, I'm very thankful of that too. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Very nice.
Yes.
Fun fact, gotta reference my favorite movie. So, anyone, you've seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. And there's that special moment where he walks into the woods and he finds all those trees that are dedicated to a holiday.
Yeah.
And there's the big turkey on the tree. Now, I read a draft of the movie, like probably one of the first drafts, and he actually opens more than one door.
I read that too.
Yeah. I think he opened the Thanksgiving door. I think he did. And then he opened like the Valentine's Day door and saw a bunch of cupids running around. But I was like, oh, that would have been neat. Just to see a few more worlds, even though it's like you really don't see it. But I'm sure they were like, oh, that's too much for us to focus on. Let's just keep it Christmas and Halloween. Let's not do the other. We got the Easter Bunny in one scene. That's enough. So...
Well, I was hoping for a sequel for him to go through another door, but I guess he learned his lesson. It would just be very repetitive if he had
learned
did
his
that.
lesson.
But I did hear that, like, I don't know, I felt that the sequel would just have this calamity of all the holidays getting mixed up, and it was up to Jack to fix them all.
That would be good, yeah, because if he did it again, it's like, really, Jack?
Yeah.
You didn't learn the first time cultural appropriation is wrong?
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess so. I'm guessing that every town had their own sort of woods with each door.
Had to.
Because it was just kind of
back?
weird how it was only in his area, but it just didn't seem... I didn't know if anybody else had access to all the other doors.
I'm sure they all did.
Yeah.
But even, like he said, it's someplace new, so was it not always there? And then for some reason it just opened up? I don't know.
Don't know.
I love that movie. I'm going to watch it. Okay.
Yay.
So, my bitch really. It's from an eating moment. So, it's from Tales from the Darkside, the movie. at the end, after little Matthew Lawrence is finished telling all his stories, Blondie is getting ready to cook his little ass in her oven, and she is so... I hate looking at that thing, 'cause it was just like all these like needles or something that she was just gonna spike him on. I was like, that is terrible. How could you do that? So she starts to unlock the cage, and she's coming in to get him. And he says, plot twist, bitch, I got some marbles. And she throws him down, and she slips, and she lands on the bed of whatever they were. It was the worst thing. And then he pushes her ass in the oven and cooks her. Bitch, really? You didn't pat his little ass down when you put him in the cage? That's your fault.
Did they even show her putting him, like capturing him, or he was just already there?
He was already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he had been there for a while.
He had a big bag of marbles too. Like, yeah, like confiscate that shit. Yeah, if you want to like.
It's a useful trick to have, kids.
This was not her first rodeo. I'm surprised she let that slip by like that.
It was her last.
Yeah.
She got sloppy. Debbie
Too
wasn't
funny.
sick. She was sloppy. Yeah, so I pulled that out of a bag.
It fits for today's episode, so I welcome that. Yeah, if you're going to kidnap people, take away their things, because they'll get you, no
Yeah.
matter what.
If you think it's not a weapon, put someone under some pressure. They'll kill you with a damn feather duster. I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll get you. Just pull the feathers out. It still has that pointy sharp, but I will gouge your eyes out with a feather quill. I will do it.
Such imagination, yes.
Well, even though I don't really care about the holiday, and I mean the horror genre really doesn't care about the holiday either, because we barely have any representation. I don't know. The comics, anemic. Books, movies, it's barely there. But we made it work.
We did make it work, and one day I'll watch that Thanksgiving movie and whatever.
And you can tell me about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Be safe as always. Remember to be thankful. Love who you're with.
Don't be afraid to wear them sweatpants. Let it all hang out.
And if you can't be with the one you love, love the one you're with. And, don't be, like, greedy. Jeez, there's people out there who don't have food. So, like, if you're going to have some leftovers, make sure you, like, make the most of those, okay? And, side note, don't be salty about your own life, because other people have oil spills in their backyard. I'm just saying. So, think about that. Be thankful for everything that you have. And we'll catch you next time on our not too distant holiday special on Bitch I Ain't Scared.
Hey!